So I thought I'd give everybody a tour of my art studio and how it's organized. So I started in the bathroom, and this is where, right here is where I clean my brushes and my hands and stuff like that. And of course, under here is where I keep stuff like soap and, of course, Murphy's oil. This is how you clean your paintbrushes correctly. You put a little bit of this in a dish and let it soak in that, and it will clean your oil paints and oil paint brushes perfectly. So this is where I keep all my paintings that I don't have room on the walls in my house. And then that whole area right there, that's just old paintings, and some aren't old paintings. It's just all paintings everywhere. I keep my spray paint there. I don't know why. I'm just paranoid that cans like that are going to explode if they're in the heat or anything. I don't know. So I just keep them separate. And I have a bunch of them. Now this is where this is the business area of my work. My computer's down there. Where's my computer? There's my computer. I do my emails and I check stuff like that. So yeah, this is where, and I'll also like organize like my cards or anything that I'm trying to learn. Like right here, I'm going to be doing this. This is where I'm going to be sitting here, and I got my pens here. So then I got in my closet. Oh, let's start up here. I have all my things very organized. Like this is all paper and stuff from, like, say I got a new paint set and it comes with a little booklet, boom, goes in there. Or say I get a new easel and it comes with a booklet, boom, went up here. And this is some extra work that I'm working on. This is cellophane. This is glassine in here. This is just like a plastic thing I found. I don't know. I got these tubes right here too. So it's all organized really well. I got my sewing machine up there I never used. And Spirograph. I got printing stuff, glass etching, speedball printing stuff. This is where my envelopes are. I don't know what's in here. I think that one's empty. Yep, that one's empty. And then up here in that closet across from here, because this is what this is. This area, that's a closet, and that's like a closet. And you walk through, and then there's a bathroom. But I took the doors out so that I can make it into, a special area. This is where I put all the canvases that, are not touched yet. This is my outside cart. Let's see, got my aprons hanging there. I got all these frames that I found over the, I trash picked them and stuff. I clean them off and hang them up on that pole. Then I have rug making, paint making, small containers, hooks for cages for the festivals, paint trays, cardboard, plain wood, and stuff for woodworking. And then the stuff in the corner right there, that is all the stuff so my husband can make lamps. And there's my Gorilla Girl mask. So then you come out here, and I have these kind of canvas boards sitting here, up top of here with wood boards. I also put this up here, and it kind of is tall enough to hit here, so it holds this so they're not all falling down. But I also got some big notebooks here, bigger than the ones that are over there. Oh, I also have two really super big notebooks here. Sketchbooks, the multimedia books. They're like really big. Then right next to it is all my acrylic paints. And then above it is ink. So for speedball stuff. Let's see, how am I going to, yeah, okay, so of course I got tools, sandpaper, I got staple guns and glue guns and stuff like that. I got all that kind of stuff in here. And then I got my, oh my God, why do I always forget the word for this? Stuff to, oh my God, what's the word? I don't know, jewelry making stuff I have in here too. But, yeah, I'm going to forget the word. This stuff. Oh my God, why can't I remember the word? Hold on. Resin stuff. Okay. I had to pause it to figure out the word. Oh my gosh. Then I got like my stamp making stuff here. And I got extra tools for, you know, clay and stuff. Then I got all these kind of things in here, which I also have over here. And I got oil paint sticks there. But yeah, I got a whole bunch. I have so many of these paint knives and stuff and rollers. Then on the bottom are literally tools. So then here, these are all my golden Liquitex and even Artist Loft level 3 paints. Like, then I got them all mixed up because I used to separate the golden and the Liquitex from it themselves, as well as the Artist. Like, I would have like 3 different sides. Now this time I got all like yellows, and then this is the reds and oranges. These are the blues, and then these are the greens. And then I got all the browns, blacks, whites, stuff like that will go in there. These are oil paints. This is the crappy oil paint. Winton. Not really crappy, but this is all my good stuff. 1980. And I got little Wintons. I got gambling in here. I got like, and they're not separated by color in any way. I only have 2 drawerfuls of them. Then, okay, like I said, they're the acrylic inks, but these are where I put my kind of good So Flat golden paints. I got my Liquitex acrylic washes over here. I like put all the colors on top. Then I got some soft body acrylics. These are, and also these are like some golden colors. And these are small Liquitex acrylic washes. Oh, sorry. And I got them upside down so that I could see what colors they are. Then I got up here is my Liquitex basic acrylic fluid paints. And these are all the colors I got here. And then these are kind of like, I don't know, mostly crappy paints. But I also have like stuff like this, watercolor gels. They make a really cool color. I don't know, they make interesting layers. Then I got some random acrylic paints there. Oh, and where are the, okay, I got some of the other ones over there. Those colors right there. That's going to go up on that tomorrow. So, anyway. And then I got some of the Sennelier paints. And they also make like lines and stuff like that. Glue, and there's some White House paint. I always use that white because I can go through some white. I got clay stuff here. I got all my watercolor stuff right here. Not all of it, but there's a lot of it there. And then there's the oil paint mediums. Then I got watercolor mediums here. And then acrylic mediums. Above that is acrylic mediums that are like really, really kind of too big to be in that section. I'm going to go back over here because this is where, this is also ink here and all my glitter. I have a whole bunch of glitter. And then up here is glue, and then there's this kit I had that I tried a long time ago. And they're Artist Loft Ready Mix pouring paint to make pour colors. I had them a long time, so. And mostly glue was up here. And then my paintbrushes. These are some paintbrushes, but then I'm going to stop here real quick. I'm going to go over here because these are my other paintbrushes. So I got all them. I got my watercolor ones right there. And then all these over here. And they're all in separate containers that are like, these are the good oil paintbrushes. These are like my good acrylic paintbrushes. These are a crappier but shorter, but not as crappy as these. Like this is the like super crappy ones that I let the kids play with too. Or I'll use if I know it's going to be really bad and I don't want to clean it up. But These are like, they're pretty good paintbrushes, but they're not tall and they're not like those. And then I got these. These are just really big acrylic, and some you can use. I use them for acrylic, but then there's some like this one. This shouldn't even be over there, but because these over here are, I use them for oil paint also, and these are acrylic, and then these are like ink and whatever you want to really use them for. So then let's go back over here. I have OCD so bad that it makes me anxious if the paintbrushes or anything like that is out of order or I can't find them, and it's taken me a long time to figure out how to organize my art studio so that I don't get anxious. So like I got all color pencils here. Now this just happens to be here because there was no room to put, I don't have any space for the soft pastels because I got one box here, and this is the good ones, Sennelier. But in here, there are color pencils. Good ones too, like, you know, Prismacolors and stuff. These are all kinds of markers in here. As you can see, there's just a whole bunch. There's just a lot in there, and they're all separated, like watercolor markers to regular markers to art text. Like, they're all organized. Now this all has the gouache watercolor kits and acrylic kits that are like in boxes and stuff like that that I don't want to separate from themselves. Like, see that acrylic gouache kit, and then this one, and then there's a couple other ones that, you know, they belong together. So anyway, like I got all the charcoal. These two are chalks, different kinds of chalks. These are credit color chalks down here, and then these are this. The teachers love these, but they're called full touch. Yeah, full touch. Everybody, all the teachers love them. Then I got my gel pencils and my tempera paint sticks in this thing here. There, I got a lot of them in here. And then, of course, I got crayons in there. Now, here's where I got some gouache kits, but these are empty, and I use them as, like, paint holders. Like, I'll put paint inside the holders, and then, yeah, you've probably seen me use it. Then these are watercolor crayons in here. All from Caran d'Ache to the cheapest ones, Crayola, Woody's, Woody Kind, but they're all watercolor crayons. Then I got my pencil kit here, and that's just an empty box. And then I got my Derwent stuff right here. These are all Derwent except for this over here. This is the only thing that's not Derwent. Everything else there is Derwent. But that is the watercolor pencils. So then I got that stuff there, and then these two are just random stuff like that I use for all kinds of different things. Oh, there's some blue paint. I was looking for that. So I also have the soft pastels down there because I don't have a spot for them yet. These are older paints. They're like chalk paints, so they are all there. And this is some more chalk paint stuff and, you know, stuff like that. And that's also, these are markers, and they come in their own kit. This is all resin stuff and jewelry stuff, and also like this thing here that presses paper, cuts into paper and stuff like that. It's really kind of cool. But yeah, this whole thing is just resin and jewelry. I got a lot of it too. Pretty cool. Also, okay, then I got this wall is where I do my art. There's my sign for the festivals. This is where I hang all those straight stuff and my color wheel, so that if I need to grab that and do something, it's right there. I used to have that somewhere else, and it would be all the way over there in there, and I was like, nah, I need it over here. So we're almost done. So in the middle here is where, you know, all the work goes on, because right here is where I do oil paints on that easel. I do all acrylic and everything else on this wall. That's a mess. And then that table right there helps me out with where I need to go and what I need to do and where the paint goes. Oh, also behind this easel is this thing. It has those type of paintbrushes in it, and then it's got the Mod Podge and paint tape, which that tape over there needs to come over here. Then I got some of these containers, and then these two things sit here so I can grab them anytime I want. So this section right here is where I mainly sit. I'll do work here, which I'm getting ready to do a YouTube short for this watercolor stuff. I have pretzels and coffee over there, but anyway, this is where the major amount of paint I have sits. All from Liquitex to Monte Marde to Amsterdam to even Apple Barrel and Folk Art, or whatever those big gigantic jars, they go here. And this was and I made a short on that, but this is an herb container, and it's on like a spinny thing, and I filled all the jars after I washed them in the dishwasher with paint. So this is where I keep my markers, my oil paint pens, color pens, just, you know, stuff like that. And I got in here is like tape, erasers, knives, of course, razors, all kinds of little knickknacks that I need. This is where my clay thing is. This is my wheel. It's under here. And then I got some books on top of it just because I didn't have anywhere else to put it, and it looks nice and neat, and you know, and that's what I try to keep it. Oh yeah, and then there's this section here down here. This has got color pen paper, books, random books. There's this color meditation deck in there, and a note. Like, I got a whole bunch of really cool stuff in there. Oh, and then underneath, I forgot to show you over there too, are stencils. That's where past this trash can is stencils. And then I got my wax painting stuff. Let me put this down so you can see it. Right down here, that's all that, you know, when you melt the wax and you make art. In this drawer here, I got this stuff. I don't really know what to call it, but it's powdered and you make paint out of it. And then there's also this stuff I keep down here. My brush show. Love this stuff. This stuff is awesome. I got a couple dishes here too, but in containers. And then I got the clay. I got a bunch of clay tools in here, and then sticks. And that's about it, man. Then I got some other little stuff there, but that's clay and stuff. So, again, before I end, I also have an outside section where I will hang stuff to dry, and an easel right here. If I just want to get something out of the way and I want it to dry, like say I spray painted or something, I didn't want to smell it, and that's where that's my dog's area. So yeah, I have OCD really bad, so I just want to kind of show you how I, you know, deal and how I organize. Okay, yeah, that's my studio tips, maybe for anybody who has OCD. All you gotta do is you gotta keep on making sure, like, okay, let's see if this works. If it doesn't work, move it. You know what I mean? I finally got to a spot, and it's taken me, 3 years to actually have a studio that I'm not rearranging every other day or every week, or at least once a month. You know what I mean? Not anymore. I got it. I finally found where I'm comfortable with all my stuff, where they're at, you know? So it's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy, and I just wanted to share it with you. Okay, bye.